Do you think there's a certain element of it where they just like the guy, like they get smitten with him,
definitely,
like George with
definitely.
Elaine's boyfriend Tony, and they're like, he's a cool guy, he gets free pie. Like they just become, wow, we really like this guy, we want to be around this guy, we think he's got something about him, regardless of what he actually does when it's time to go play football.
It's why Baker Mayfield got picked number 1. It's just one of the biggest reasons to tie it back to that. Oh, the guy, he's amazing in the locker room. The team loves him. The equipment trainers love him. Yeah. The team dog loves him.
Check with us in a few years.
I know. So that's there you go. So people love that. There was a group that just, you couldn't tell them wrong. He was the best leader in college football, and that's all they. So that's another thing. They just go, okay, well, hey, you're at Oklahoma. Everything's roses. They're winning every game. It's all perfect. Everybody's wide open. It's CeeDee Lamb's open, and give the ball to this running back. And, there's Hollywood Brown. It's awesome. What a great leader he is when things are great. And, yes, to your point, I think that gets looked into a little too deeply, too.
When our producer for today, Pete Demolitis, isn't feeding us potential questions that include the F word, he is actually doing some work. Check out this quote.
Oh, here it is. Alonzo Highsmith. Exactly.
Alonzo Highsmith,
right.
Former NFL running back.
Right.
He was the VP of player personnel. And here's what he said after the 2018 draft. Baker Mayfield lost 2 receivers, and he was the same quarterback. Josh Allen, big arm. He could throw the ball from here to the moon. When they have to make excuses, why are they not completing passes? That's a problem. That's a problem.
So
that's a problem.
Well, let's start right there. This is where it goes wrong. He's not completing passes. Mike, if you and I sat down and watched 3 games of Josh Allen back in Wyoming, we'd go,
I remember talking about
it.
Right.
I go, there's only been 4 guys open in 3 games. So, yeah, the completion percentage is not going to be high. He's throwing in 50-mile-per-hour winds in the snow with nobody that can get open. But they were going to put that on him. See what I mean? So, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just thought it was a good point.
No, that was good.
Yeah.
Because I remember having that specific conversation sitting in this chair 4 years ago, and you were saying you can't put it on the quarterback when the completion percentage is low at college because there's a good chance that his receiving core was crap.
Right.
And it was.
It was.
All due respect. And you're playing in Wyoming, yes, and all the other factors that go into it. And so it was discounted by the Browns, who gravitated toward Baker Mayfield. Then comes the part, said Alonzo Highsmith 4 years ago, where you meet them off the field. You watch their workouts. You watch everything. And Baker blew me away. Highly, highly intelligent, highly competitive. And he had a trait that some of the good ones have. I call it efficacy. That includes the power to affect other people. I thought that of all the quarterbacks I watched, he stood out far and above the other guys. When he walked into a room, you knew he was there.
Well,
and now he's not.
Well, he's not.
At least he soon won't be.
Right. And out of that class, when people walk out of all those quarterbacks, when they walk in the room, you know who's there? Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. That's the first 2 people that every team would know, locker room would know, and those are the 2 guys that encompass what Alonzo Highsmith is trying to say there with that final statement there. Those are the 2 guys that walk into a locker room and everybody goes, ooh, efficacy, or whatever that word is.
Because of what they did,
right,
not in college, because of what they've done
exactly
at the highest level of the sport,
right,
against the highest level of competition, with the best available receivers that they have, and they landed in organizations that embraced them, that played to their talents. Took the Bills a couple years to figure it out with Josh Allen, but that's okay. By year 3, boom, off the charts,
yeah,
MVP candidate. The Ravens figured it out right away with Lamar Jackson when they picked him. While Joe Flacco at the time was their starting quarterback, they knew what they were going to do, completely reformulate the offense around the skills and abilities of Lamar Jackson. That's good coaching. That's good organization. That's the Ravens. That's not the team down the road from the Ravens in Washington that would have screwed it all up if they had Lamar Jackson. And we'd have been saying by 2020, man, they pissed away a pick on Lamar Jackson. Sorry, Manchester. But that's why I wish there wasn't a draft, because Lamar Jackson, in theory, could have been picked by a bad team. I mean, he could have been. Every team had a shot at him before 32, although somebody surely traded out. Not everybody would have had a first-round pick, but you get my point.
Yeah.
If he lands with a team that isn't going to come up with an offense that gets the most out of his skills, that tries to jam a square peg into a round hole, tries to get him do things he's not comfortable doing, doesn't take advantage of his gifts, we're never going to know how good he is. And he's not going to be the 2019 NFL MVP.
Agreed. All those things come into play. There's no question about it. Doesn't matter. There's only a few people in the history of the sport that can get away with the deck being stacked against them in the categories you're talking about where they could overcome it. And those are like special. Hey, Deion Sanders, it doesn't matter what team he was on. Hey, go cover that guy. Great. We know he's going to be awesome. Randy Moss, go out there, run a go route. Oh, I don't know what team you're on, but you'll be open. Great. Reggie White, you're going to be over. Those, yeah, okay. We're talking about the all-timers of the all-timers. But for the rest, you're right. It's got to have the right formula concocted for them to be successful. And it's got to fit in a lot of different ways. And it does. It makes it horrible at times. And you can be a player and get stuck in a bad position, and it's really tough. And you could be a good player, and nobody will ever know because you don't have the support system like you talked about.
I don't know if Pete was being sarcastic. He says we have a live look at Baker Mayfield's efficacy. Do we have something?
He's funny.
There it is. Oh, yes. Oh, stop it. All right.
Man.
But look. Let's say this. If Baker Mayfield had not landed with the Browns, now I know they've gotten better.
Yeah.
But he did have to suffer through Hugh Jackson and company until Jackson got fired. Then it was the Freddie Kitchens show in 2019, which caused Baker Mayfield to backslide. And when they hired Kevin Stefanski, and look, Stefanski Coach of the Year in 2020. They did great things. They got to the Final Eight. But it was never a personality match, and it never will be a personality match between Stefanski and Mayfield. So I think that's contributed to it. And I still think Baker Mayfield can be great. You get him in the right spot. One of the reasons why the Browns may be looking to get rid of him is related to the Browns, not the player. There are two sides of that coin when it comes down to whether or not a guy busts in a given city. It could be the player. It could be everything around the player. Just like you said, what makes a winner? Not one guy in a 22-man sport where you got an offense, a defense, and everything that goes along with it. It's not one guy. You get that one guy in the right spot. That's why I'm fascinated by the possibility of Baker Mayfield being cut and going straight to Pittsburgh, because then you see what Baker Mayfield can do when he's got an elite defense all the time, when he's got a coach who's not going to put up with any of the crap that may be going on behind the scenes, causing teammate to be pitted against teammate, and the Odell Beckham Jr. stuff. And, you have the right culture, the right mindset. It's a different attitude altogether. Knows how to coach a quarterback, knows how to get the most out of a Ben Roethlisberger, knows how to speak to his better angels. Hey, one of the reasons, let's give Tomlin credit here, because we always talk about Tomlin as it relates to what he did with Antonio Brown, keeping Antonio Brown from becoming the Antonio Brown we now know until late in his career in Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger had a dramatic transformation in what kind of a guy he was. He was a pain in the ass for his teammates early in his career. Again, that gets forgotten because he turned it around.
Right.
What happened? Mike Tomlin became the coach in 2007. And that's about the time where it started. It still took some time for Ben Roethlisberger to truly transform himself. But it all happened on Tomlin's watch.
Yeah, it did.
Roethlisberger, early in his career, pain in the ass. Later in his career, not. This may be one of the reasons why, for all their flaws, the Browns realize we can't let this guy go to Pittsburgh and let the Steelers expose how we didn't know how to handle Baker Mayfield and get the most out of him and have this efficacy come to the forefront. I'm still not entirely sure that's the right word.
I don't know if that seems right either. Right.
But regardless, whatever it is, whatever quality spoke to the Browns in 2018, if it's still ricocheting around there inside of Baker Mayfield, Mike Tomlin's going to draw it out of him.
Yeah.
And that's why the part of me that loves a good story, that loves chaos, I want to see the Browns have no way out of this. They have to cut him, and he goes straight to Pittsburgh, and Tomlin gets more out of Baker Mayfield than the Browns ever could.
It'll be interesting. I'll be interested to know if that does happen, if they really want him, if they really do. Like, would Pittsburgh really welcome him that way? Maybe they, as of playing him the last 2 years, just go, we don't love him that much. And I would be interested to know that. Plus, Baker's not a movement guy, and we know they kind of want to run a movement type of offense. But I'm with you in the fact of I'm still a believer in Baker, too. There's still talent there. So I'm not ready to throw in the towel and go, oh, man, I don't see it. No, we've seen enough. We know he can do it. We do. And there are some, tangible things about his game and intangibles that we like that I think that can be successful still. It can. But that's the amazing thing about where we are right now. You read the room, and for Baker Mayfield, as he sits there right now, you go, where's he going to land? Where is he going to go? I just sit here and go, okay, Seattle or Houston? Seattle or Houston? That's what I keep going back to.
Houston could have had him already.
I know, and that's what I was going to say. Everybody you talk to in football will tell you Houston seems like they're going to truly give Davis Mills the shot, right? So, there's that aspect. And then, Seattle's the only one I sit there and come to and go, well, that makes sense. I mean, I'm amazed that, we're kind of in this situation with Baker Mayfield, who has starting caliber talent. There's no question at quarterback. And we're getting down to, not many teams left for him to start for here. I think you tie that together with what's going on in the draft and an underwhelming draft class and who's going to be the quarterback of some of these teams. I think it's very interesting right now.
I think that one of the things that we definitely have to pay attention to is who emerges from round one with a quarterback and who doesn't. If the Saints would jump up to number 5 and take Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis before the Panthers can take one or the other, and the Panthers take the other, and the Falcons say, we just can't. We can't take the next guy at number 8. We can't do it. Then maybe the door opens in Atlanta because Marcus Mariota, all due respect, can't be the guy that they expect to be their quarterback because he can't stay healthy. So maybe the Falcons develop what the hell else are we going to do? Let's go get Baker Mayfield attitude when it comes to this situation. The draft is going to tell us a lot about where Baker Mayfield possibly will go. Mayfield appeared on a podcast last week that's supposed to post in the next couple of days. It's going to be his first comments since his farewell letter to Cleveland that was posted on social media before the Deshaun Watson trade happened. So I have a feeling Mayfield will have some things to say. And let's remember, whether it's Mayfield or Jimmy Garoppolo, because the Texans could be waiting for Garoppolo to be cut, both of those guys have considerable power, even without a no-trade clause. If someone comes sniffing around to trade for them and their attitude is, I don't want to play for your team, that is not going to make the team more intent on doing that deal. They don't want a guy that doesn't want to be there.
No.
And if it's a team that these guys don't want to play for, and especially Mayfield, I've been through 4 years of the Browns as the Browns. I'm going to be very selective about where I continue my career because this may be it for me. What I do with this next team may be my last chance to convince somebody that I can be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, it's a big decision for him. There's no question. And I don't see any other way other than Cleveland releasing him at some point and him being able to choose the team he wants to go to. I can't see a team, knowing at some point they got to trade him. They're going to let him go. They're not going to keep him there. So that will be interesting.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.